T1 go for, like the Gnar, not as good into the cannon. The K'Sante though has come up, even though the laning matchup isn't great. A lot of LCK teams have used this as a deterrent, and the ability for the K'Sante to mark cannon in team fights and get him away from the backline as soon as possible has worked out for some teams, not so much for others.
Yeah, the K'Sante, very popular in all regions. In fact, quite the versatile top laner up there. And the Aphelios for Gumayusi. Looks like this one is going to get locked in. Massive, massive pick for him as an individual. Huge, huge plays. And Guma, speaking of the differences between previous MSI and this MSI, huge glow up for him. He seems to be now the most reliable player on this team. And while you usually want to pair this with Thresh, watching Champions Queue, Keria also has been spamming his Tahm Kench, which is one of the most safe Tahm Kenches in the world. So they have a couple options to pair with that Aphelios.
Particularly given that with the Annie, and especially if they log this in, Mad is playing extremely aggressive here. I think the power of a Kench can be very, very strong. Additionally, Carry is one of the most aggressive Kench. He's actually, if you haven't seen it yet, and you think Tahm Kench is boring, he will try to convince you otherwise.
I mean, Carry and boring are not two words you'll ever hear in the same sentence. I will say this, Annie, obviously for it being somewhat of a flex pick, Nisqy has only played that game once. It was a victory. Hylissang does have 20+ games on that champion, so will be some flexibility in where they want to pop that down with the Lulu now being locked in. Very intrigued to see whether or not the Carzzy champion pool is going to be banned. I think, Kobe, we were talking backstage about how Carzzy into Guma might be one of the biggest mismatches as far as these two teams are concerned.
Yeah, especially with the different focuses of these two teams, with Mad Lions having so much focus towards the top side of the map and having Hilly roam. We'll see if they actually get that in. A lot of options here still. I
mean, a lot of Viego. 39 games out of the 250 on Viego, the second most played champion for Oner. Lissandra as well as Ahri with the final 2 bans. So with the Ahri being banned out, maybe assuming that Hylissang's going to be piloting that Annie in the bottom lane, Nautilus is locked in, so Nautilus mid for Faker.
Looking likely here. Wouldn't put it past T1 to go for some crazy shenanigans, but picking up the tech that G2 debuted. Really high prioritization on that, as we saw in play-ins.
I think the word debut strong for me. I think Doinb debuted it.
Okay, in recent times.
Recently, and we get Xayah and Pyke, the professors in the building.
Yes, yes, this is the one thing we wanted the most. Have some spicy support picks here. Hilly locks in his Pyke. That's the playmaker that we want. That's the roamer that Mad need to get excited about.
And T1, they're going all in on Guma here. This is a full-on, particularly if this gets locked in, composition that is centered around keeping him safe and making sure that he can carry the team fight.
Good luck with that one, because this Pyke is now going to go to the Okay, very quickly. 37 professional games for Hylissang on Pyke, 70% win ratio. Incredibly impactful. Kobe, let's zoom out. Tell me what you see from these comps and how they want to win.
I mean, just as you're talking about, all the focus being on Guma here and this Aphelios, and he's going to be what wins you the team fights, but they lock in the Kha'Zix, the recently buffed up assassin jungler here for Oner. So super excited to see him. Whenever you have a meta and there's so many of these playmaking mid laners, you have to think they're going to start throwing in these carry junglers, and the balance team was so kind to buff up the Kha'Zix and the Nidalee just in time to pair with all these Gragas, Nautilus, K'Sante mid players. So now we get to see Faker and Oner. Faker and Oner, baby. Nautilus, Kha'Zix.
And it's really important here for T1 that Guma stays on parity, because I do think the composition can struggle if that 80 carry falls behind.
Winner advances to face Gen G. And the loser will drop down to the lower bracket. Straight out of the gate, Kobe Mad Lions are making a mad dash to the bottom lane.
And the Professor has a sweeper. Pyke with sweeper start here for Hylissang. 5 members bottom. They're going to make a hard push into the blue quadrant here for T1.
Of course, you can see there Mercedes-Benz featured matchup between these two respective bottom laners, Keria and Hylissang. Hylissang's definitely the man to keep your eye on, because then you combo him with the Annie, with the Kennen, with anything that the Lee Sin is going to do. Obviously, huge impact. And of course, for Mad Lions, if they do get that snowball rolling, they've got that damage, they can burn through everything T1 puts in front of them.
And the difficult thing is, whenever you're running a champion like this, if you're trying to find those roam windows for Hilly, then you kind of have to first get some sort of pressure in bottom lane, some jungle or mid ganks or something down there to be able to give you those timing openings and some time here for Hilly to work his magic. Otherwise, in lane, Guma and Keria will be a scaling.
And that is something that I think T1 is going to look towards when it comes to keeping Healy in lane. And when we look at what Guma and Carry have been able to do domestically, even after the AD carry support kind of ran out of mana, it was their laning prowess, which I think was one of the biggest pressure points that they could rely on, one of their biggest weapons when they did play against Gen.G as well. And additionally, I'm looking towards the jungle because Kha'Zix in particular, if he can get ahead with the amount of setup that he has, is huge.
Oh, Bone Skewer connects. Guma's down. 200 hit points. London is going mad. The shield will keep Guma alive, and Kazi steps back. All right, Ghost and Heal traded for Ghost and Ignites.
100% accuracy so far for Hylissang.
Nice.
1 Q, 1 hit, and it's a massive chunk of damage here onto Guma.
Oh, forcing out the flash. Hylissang's training at Guma is the target. I am keeping my eyes on the minimap. Ono started topside, so will be potentially making his path down. If Hylissang and Kazi stick around, they could be in trouble in a few moments.
This is why Hilly, with the most number of international games of anyone on MAD, they have so much trust in him. He always plays with so much confidence. And Guma, because he started Doran's Blade, Aphelios with only 1 potion, you got to go back to base.
And if you'll excuse me for the briefest of moments, MAD Lions against any LCK team have only ever secured 3 wins, they've got 11 losses. Hylissang is an individual player, has got 4 wins and 6 losses, and he's looking to set it up again. Level 3, Elyoya. Ona nowhere nearby. Carrier's got the flash, the little zoom, Sonic Wave into the Tempest Cripple and immediately backing away.
But the win here is still there for Matt. They've been able to zone off Guma. He is still level 1, and thanks to the cannon, he's going to get a little bit of this wave, but the aggressive start from Matter is going to put a T1 bot side on the back foot.
It's quite massive here, and we're going to see a wraparound as well. He steals it!
Elyoya, Mad Lions investing a lot of time. So, a little bit not what we're used to seeing from the LEC. Time and presence in the bottom lane. I think when you are playing the Pyke, it makes a lot of sense. Carrier just out of range there of that Bone Skewer, and Nisqy is in trouble. Got caught by the Dredge line. Kazi down to 200. He's still got the flash. Healy's going for a swim, and it's Guma after the back, after the heal. That's now bullying the bot lane as a mad.
Do want to highlight as well, Nisqy has had prio for basically the entire game up until this point, which also allows Elyoya, combined with the bot lane prio, to play as aggressive as he did up until now. Guma still being zoned off of the wave here.
Yeah, and the reason why you see teams so often do these types of pressure plays on the bottom side of the map is because that extra reduction in champion damage for the first 5 minutes is not there on bottom side. So not only does he have the CS lead, but they got a turret plate as well, working right through that one with 3 people when the Lee Sin came through to zone them off. Now Nisqy under attack.
He's got the flash available, will be using it, gets the stun below 100. First blood goes to Mad Lions. Another disintegrate connects. Owner's waiting for the cooldowns. He's got the taste of fear. Down to 200. Elyoya goes away. Sonic Wave in. It's a double for the Lions.
The Mad Lions are popping off in London.
And Owner thought that he flashed over the wall. And as a result, he went in for the flash and immediately regretted this decision.
This team, this Mad Lions, that was 8th place in LEC, and everyone was so worried about squeaking into playoffs, are really showing up early here on the international stage.
Channeling a little bit of that energy that the Golden Guardians has as well, defying all expectations. And for Nisqy, it is his first professional match against Faker. Gets jumped on by Owner, backed up by Elyoya, so this Lee Sin is off to a great start. 2-0. 1,000 gold lead at the 5-minute mark. And as expected, Kennen is continuing to apply pressure in the top lane, but CS numbers are pretty much even across the board. So as we take a look again at this, Chronicler was such a great call-out on assuming the flash went over the wall.
And they don't have vision, right? So the moment that Nisqy flashes here, Owner, having already used his leap, he thinks that he flashed over the wall. So this play from Nisqy is what wins them the 2v2 and picks up an early double for Elyoya. And in a carry versus carry jungle matchup, particularly when you're Lee, getting an XP lead over Kha'Zix and picking up this much early gold is monumental.
Look at Nisqy on your screen, very excited, very good start to the game. They need to continue this pace. Make sure they can control the likes of Owner, not allow Gumayusi to scale up. So every time I look at the minimap, I see Elyoya once again on that front foot. I think forward percentage for Elyoya this game is going to be off the charts. If you look at the bottom lane, Flash is not available for Guma. Nisqy's roaming down, Tibbers is up, and this minion wave is relatively strong. Kobe, I think they're setting up for a dive. They may not even need it. The feathers are available. It's Elyoya that snipes it. Now all of a sudden, Owner's going to be the next target. A gigantic minion wave and Carrier left alone underneath the power. What tastes purple, Hylissang says. The 4th of the game for the Lions.
This is actually immaculate bot half of the map execution from Mad Lions. Super clean plays from Hylissang to set it up on the bottom side, get them pressure, executing in the duels in mid lane as well. They can transition this now into objectives and start stacking their dragons with the bottom pressure. Owner here is looking to steal it though.
That's Owner hopping forward with that leap. Tipper's being helped out. Depth charge thrown, Dragon is helping out T1. Nisqy gets the shield, gets the bop on the head from Faker. T1 are on the board, flashing away to safety. Elyoya picks up the kill. Now Carrier is left for dead. He flashes over. Elyoya is going to look for the Q. It's on cooldown for now. Carrier escapes. 1 for 1, the Dragon resets.
So T1, they do make the sacrifice and get the 1 for 1 just to stop that Dragon. Now the timing window has passed here since Guma's back in lane. T1's bottom lane is pushing, so you have to reset yourselves as Mad Lions. So T1, they're doing some damage control right now to make sure the kills in the early gold lead doesn't spill over into objectives.
T1 trying to at least get something back here, making use of the window that was prevented by Owner and Faker to get themselves a blade here. And if we do look at the golds, 500 gold deficit right now for Guma, but given the amount of waves that have already been denied to him by Mad Lions, now the end of the world, but this ganks works as well.
Find out a level 6 on Elyoya. No flash available, and Gumia has been jumped on. Will be donated to Kazi. 100% kill participation for Elyoya. And as we said, this game coming in, Mad Lions needed to strike early, and they are doing just that.
He's Gold Drinker.
Yes,
we're 8 minutes in.
8 minutes. Unbelievable stuff. 3,000 gold lead. Yeah. We saw the Kennen being locked in first, and immediately went, maybe this Kennen, we haven't even seen the top lane. They don't exist, Kobe.
I love it because there are two philosophies with how you want to attack a strong opponent. Do you want to actually play to your strength and go to the top side that you've done for so much of the LEC? We're going to see the Rift Herald fight though. Nisqy ult.
Faker, no flash available. He just gets run down. Another kill secured. I mean, look, the fans here in London are flabbergasted.
And T1 is just scrambling, right? They're so used to being ahead in the early game and having tempo advantage no matter where they go, having the setup advantage. But right now, that's just not the case.
All right, 3 members of T1 in the top lane. Chasey, he's got his flash, he's got his ulti. Here goes Carrier, here goes Guma. Well, that's going on. Tower Place just completely conceded in the middle lane. With Faker's death and no teleport, that's 1 2-plate secured already. A third might also fall.
Yeah, so if we calm down a little bit right now.
I don't want to.
With all of the hype, T1, this is again some more damage control. Here we go, Hilly though.
Owner has found Hilly and just destroys him. Absolutely destroys him. Solo kill there, and that is crucial. Slows down their push, buys some time for other plates in the top lane.
And you have to recognize how smart the damage control from T1 is because they have to get out of that losing situation, so they make the early swap to topside while they've got Aphelios with the white gun here, try and move away from the power and the snowball of Mad Lions and get some turret plates and get some gold back in their favor to try and stabilize a little bit. That also allows Owner to get this pick onto Hilly because they know Hilly just flashed on bottom side trying to get his stun onto Guma. And no flash on Pyke means nice kill for Kha'Zix.
And if Owner doesn't get that kill, and I think Mad Lions are able to get this mid lane turret and really take full control of the map. Now T1, it's standing for now. I don't know how long Faker by himself can hold on to this. It's going to be a really tough one. 4K gold deficit here in 10 minutes.
Chronicler, a stiff breeze is going to knock over that mid turret. It's
maybe
so
look at it
low
angrily.
on him, but that's what the plan is. Well, that's happening as well. The bottom tower is also under siege. So as you mentioned, Chronicler, 4K gold lead. Mad Lions this time will be met with resistance in the bottom lane. Teleport is available for Faker as a potential dive was set up. It's going to end up fizzling. And Nisqy's now returning back to the middle lane. By the way, Dragon is still standing, so that's that first Drake of the game. It's been heavily delayed. Will not be one of those win conditions. Bone Skewer, sidestep, and Faker will get pulled backwards. He throws out the mine. The Tibbers is dropped. Faker's burning, Dredge lighting! Death from below as Mad Lions get another.
If you don't love Hilly at his int, then you don't deserve Hilly at his kills here. Massive stuff from him. Bottom lane plays over and over and over. And that was our big question at the beginning out of Champ Select. He has been mid lane over and over here. He's making a big difference in the Faker matchup too. Getting some extra kills for Nesquik. They get the tower as well. I mean, Mad Lions, they've had some very intelligent plays as well as a lot of extremely well executed plays here versus T1. And that's what you have to keep up.
And what I love from Mad is how incredibly aggressive they are continuously playing. Because as you were saying, Cobri, T1, we're attempting damage control.
Oh, damage control here. Time to go all out and for strikes. Slicing Maelstrom. Chasey's below 200. The tower will not help. Zeus with the solo kill.
Important moment here. Getting that K'Sante Fat means that maybe that front line can buy some time for the rest of T1 to keep it going.
Chronicler sounds a little bit like Hopium as far as I'm concerned. 1 kill and even CS. It is still a 5,000 gold deficit. This is a phenomenal lead for the Mad Lions. They also picked up the first tower fairly early on in the game. The average guard MSI to this point is around 14 minutes. They're 3.5 ahead of that curve.
Yeah, what I was saying before Zeus rudely interrupted me with that solo kill is that what I really love from Mad is that they're not really giving T1 a big window to recuperate. It's dive, it started level 1, then it's the flash immediately afterwards, then it's dive, after mid play, and T1 are clearly scrambling.
And then Zeus here with the Q3, able to get it, dashes back in. Needs to build up some hope here for T1. You talked about it, touched about it in Champ Select. It's all going to eventually come back to Gumayusi and this Aphelios possible carry for T1. That's why, you know, Mad Lions for this whole game have been attacking that bottom line, trying to deny him as much money as possible.
I mean, hopefully just before the next engage happens, Bone Skewer's out, that will catch, and that's a route there onto Heli. I do want to highlight 3 mythics already for Elyoya, for Nisqy, for Kazi. As all of a sudden T1, they smell it, they see what's happening, so they're backing away. No slicing Maelstrom for Chasey, not many minions to work with for T1. Uses that lightning rush away, gets the stun, towers onto Zeus though, Ona's going a little bit low, another stun connects, the tower, not enough, one lost, shot does it. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, but the tower also goes to Mad, so net positive so far. Can T1 do damage in the mid lane?
Yeah, quite good here for T1 to get a turret plate in mid lane, plus they're gonna be able to have Kha'Zix push on the top side. They delay a long time in actually getting turret aggro here. They were waiting for Kenan's E to actually run out, but that meant Zeus had to take so many tower shots. He does go down. Still, really big comeback play here for T1. They've got a lot of work to do, though, I have to say, with how big Mad Lions early game
look
was.
at that goal difference on the bottom of your screen. What's that? Plus 2K just in the jungle. 1-5 in the mid lane. 1-3 in the bottom lane.
It's getting bigger.
That's going to get even bigger. Hylissang and Kazi, as well as the rest of the Mad Lions, have not let up the pace. And Chronicler, I think you really accentuated it. T1 just don't have a chance to breathe. They don't have time to create their own opportunities.
And this is not a situation that T1 finds themselves in very often. Gen G is a team that's notable for, yeah, maybe they go behind, but their macro around the map, their team fighting, always allows them to have an opportunity, even disregarding team compositions here with how far Guma has been put behind and looking at the team fighting power that you have with Annie, with Xayah, with Kenan, who are all fed and have a fed Pyke. It's not something that T1 generally is known for.
Plus, T1 are going to lose all of their outer defenses so early in this game. Last outer tower right now being taken by Carzzy. Not only is that a bunch of extra money into the Mad Lions carry here, but...
Well, Chasey, feeding here for Mad Lions. The only member that's only marginally ahead gets a lot of damage onto Ona. Wild growth, not necessarily needed, but all of a sudden, there's another setup. Faker gets the dredge line. There's not enough support coming from the rest of the squad. I mean, all 3 outer towers down before the average of the first tower here at MSI. Death from below is available. Depth charge thrown out once again, using that hook to pull to safety. This is a 2 versus 4 flash forward. Hilly is going to need to dive, getting away for now. Down to 200 hit points, and Guma Gale forces forward. He gets the kill. Here comes Carthy. The feathers, they fly. That's 1, that's 2. And Mad Lions push T1 back.
Mad Lions strike it back. Yeah, Guma does the flash Gale Force for the execute, but that means he's face first into Carzzy, who collects another one fresh off of his recall from the top side of the map. And they're going to have another dragon problem to deal with pretty soon.
And I think it's fair to say that's kind of like chasing the loss. T1 are in such a difficult situation. Any gold is good, but unfortunately they overstep just enough for Mad Lions to punish.
And Zeus might be in trouble here as well.
Let's find out. Here we go. That's a great ward hop into the kick, landing absolutely everything. And I mean, Zeus, just in a 2v1, what can you do? Surviving a lot longer than I was anticipating. And that is a tiny bit of hope. But the thing is, it is still gigantic deficit. Even if Zeus can stay alive in team fights, the rest of the squad are going to melt so quickly.
Okay, so here we see the replay where Oner did use his flash to get the kill onto Chasey. But then the chase is really, really strong from T1. They feel so desperate right now because they are this far behind. So they're trying to create those crazy comeback plays. Hylissang kind of senses that it's coming though, and he kites them back pretty far. A lot of flashes being blown here. Look at these. There's only a flash for Zeus now for T1.
Gonna make it very hard. T1, are they actually going to contest this Drake?
I don't think they should.
I don't think they should, Trevor.
What is the other plan? Kobe, here we go.
They definitely should not, because there's teleporter ready on JC, and he uses it now.
All right, 3,000 hit points. 2,500, 1,500. It's secured by T1. Zeus is the immediate target. That's all of a sudden the Moonlight Vigil fight. T1 have belted through the hit points for now. They've stood toe to toe. Oner is forced away. Chasey finds him. Slicing Maelstrom, but it's at the cost of Nesquik's life. 4 members of T1 going backward. They get the hook onto the little hamster and the jump charge onto Causey. How the hell are T1 doing it? They managed to win the fight. Down 7,000 gold. Elyoya's running for his life and Causey's trying to find time, trying to fire the feathers. He's rooted up Faker. He needs one more, but he simply can't do it. Guma's the next target. Feather storm out. Causey wants to close it out with the help of Elyoya. Somehow, Mad Lions bring it back from the jaws of Teamfight defeat, only for T1 to shut them right down. This fight has gone on so long that Niski's been able to respawn and teleport back in. All of a sudden, Niski, can he catch Faker? Looking for the Incinerate, the Disintegrate, but Faker's too. Tonki turns it around again. Zeus the next target. Depth charge again. Faker finally down. Niski running for his life, but it's T1. It's T1.
This is madness! All the shutdowns here going over. T1 are trying to make it scrappy to get them back. They got an objective bounty shutdown on the Dragon, and they got the 2 big bounties, Elyoya's and Carzzy's, in the end of it. So even though Mad Lions do chase down and get a bunch of kills onto T1, the more scrappy like this, the better for the possible comeback. My goodness, that just got crazy.
Even then, I've seen a lot of T1 Baron setups, okay, where I'm like, oh, T1, I don't know if you want to do that. I've never seen them contest the Dragon while being this far down and somehow kind of making it work. Like, Mad is still very, very far ahead, but T1, at the very least, are fighting back.
Come on, Mad Lions into that fight. Let's not kid ourselves here a little bit. With a bit of luck, we can actually watch this replay. I mean, Kobe, how did it go so wrong for Mad Lions?
All right, so initially, T1 is going to win the smite fight here. Q plus smite on Kha'Zix, really big burst damage, so he easily gets that. And then it's the big chase here. Elyoya in onto Zeus, but he dashes away, as well as the Polymorph following it up. Chasey goes in, he finishes off the Kha'Zix, then he's in the pit, and Faker hits him with the hook. Chasey walked up to try and get a Q for harass, but Faker getting that hook onto him on the front lines opens up Guma carry, and then he Gale Forces up to still have the extra damage and the angle onto Hylissang to get himself the extra kill. That's where the big problem actually emerged. Mad Lions, though, they still have such a
Oh, but at what cost? That's Niski being caught out. He's taken down. The Moonlight Vigil as well. T1 have found another fantastic pick.
That's the second time in a row, and I think in the previous fight, we saw Mad in a straight-up 5v5 front-to-back without a flank, maybe for Chasey. T1 was able to match. Here, T1 is using the amount of CC that they have available to pick up individual targets and not giving Mad a time to respond.
We need another play-by-play. 31 kills in 19 minutes. And T1, that goal deficit, I still feel like it should matter. I just don't think that it does.
I love it. I love it. We were talking about it earlier before this series, but if T1 get behind like this, they're going to try and fight their way out. They are not going to try and minimize damage here. They're trying to fight their way out of it. It's up to Mad Lions here to get back on track.
I am no longer believing in the concept of gold advantage in this game.
Yes,
I don't know what happens. I think, as mentioned, the big thing for me is that Mad does still have a really big map control advantage with the amount of objectives that they have.
And I think what's very crucial as well, we have to keep our eyes on those flashes. Had Chasey had flashed in that Dragon fight, he could have got that Slicing Maelstrom deeper into T1's team. Unfortunately, he didn't, so therefore it didn't have that same impact. Mad Lions are still up significantly. 4 towers to 0. That 5,000 gold we talked about, we're a minute away from the next Dragon, but we're not playing for Soul just yet. It'll still be many minutes before that's impactful.
So here's what has to happen for Mad Lions. They have all of the playmaking flashes available. Chasey flash, Niski flash, Hylissang flash. already, and they have to be able to get Guma with one of those. If one of those players can make the big play with the Annie stun, with the Kennen stun, with the Hylissang hook onto Gumayusi, then they'll get right back on track. They can win the team fight. They have to kill that Aphelios, though.
It's my turn to have some Hopium, so we have 3 players, and they have to just get one.
Hopium?
That is what
you're
Mad
5k gold up!
Also, Elyoya's going to have his flash soon, so you'll be able to add in the
T1 hasn't taken a turret!
Yeah, but Chronicler, T1 has taken multiple fights in a row. I will not get excited yet. Mad Lions, the pace is now slowed down. Because of the fact they have to push to those inner turrets, it becomes significantly riskier, as we just saw in that red buff engage, for the Mad Lions to press this lead further. Look at the bottom lane, teleports up for Chasey. He's pushing towards the inner turret, he's got some wards to play with as well.
He's recalling here for a purchase to come in. What's he sitting on? What's he sitting on? He's got the teleport just back to the turret. Okay, so it's not going to be a deep teleport flank or anything here for Mad Lions, just the reset.
And with the value that the Hextech Soul provides, the early play that T1 found, where they were able to deny that one dragon and delay that for, I think it was about 5 minutes, actually ends up being huge. Yes, the previous dragon fight was...
yeah, I think
that might have played a small part as well, Kobe.
I think the big one is the one that they just started 7,000 gold down in your face and then took and got the objective bounty. You can
hey, those first 5 minutes matter, okay?
Oh, gentlemen, this is such a great start to the series. Infinity Edge was just picked up the field. Guma, 2 items completed. Kazi's making his way there. The Baron has been started and the teleport's being channeled. Here comes Zeus from below. Baron rather, not going particularly quickly as 5 members of T1 now stepping into the river.
Okay, remember all those flashes we listed for Mad Lions. Oh my god, they're just gonna flip.
It's 2,000! It's stolen! It's stolen! Elyoya misses the smite! All of a sudden for the fight! Annie is caught once more! Goes Golden in so much trouble, but Faker is the target. It's a 1-for-2 and Guma is untouched! Finally gets the kill back onto another, but it's Zeus and it's T1 that are cleaning everything up. Elyoya's got another 3-for-3, but they got the Baron as well. Hylissang's got that death from below, but nobody's in execution range. T1 steal Baron!
Oh my goodness, I could not believe they actually just flipped that there against the Kazakhs. And Owner can get in there no problem. The Q plus smite again.
I don't know, why would you flip this? Start the fight! We kept talking about the flashes. You have a Kennen, you have an Annie, you have a Pyke. Pick someone and murder them.
This is something where maybe Mad Lions a little bit in their own head, a little bit excited. I mean, jumping in, 1100 and just straight up stolen, Kobe.
Nice stuff there from Owner. And then looking at the follow-up on the fight here, Zeus is able to kite it out again for Faker's hook. Faker hooks Nisqy basically 100% to 0, even with the stopwatch there. It was all Nisqy in the early game here. Big diff over Faker. He had the big brain duel where he flashes into the brush there. But since then, it has been team fight initiations from the Nautilus, these hooks that keep landing. And T1, they are marching right back into this game.
And if Carzzy doesn't get that play, doesn't get the kill on Guma, like that fight is a complete wash. Yep. And T1 can pick up so many more Barons now, only 2 Baron buffs still on them.
That's a good call out because yes, they got the injection of gold, but in terms of pushing power, it is somewhat limited. That Bloodthirster was secured there, as all of a sudden Zeus in trouble, pulled backwards, goes back out, Tibbers dropped. Nisqy forced a flash. This Annie is not having a significant impact. Dredgeline will take Faker to the tower. It's still standing. Baron empowered minion chipping away slowly. T1 have still yet to secure a tower. They will get the Dredgeline. Hylissang buys time with that stopwatch and now forced to run, but the tower is still the focus. And Mad Lions, they cannot stop this pressure.
Yeah, hugely successful initiations from T1 again. They were able to chunk down Nisqy, force him back, as well as get the sideways ultimate out of Carzzy. That Xayah not nearly as safe as previously, and that allows T1, even without getting kills, to get 2 turrets with this Baron.
Chronicler, a little bit earlier when I said to you, I will not get excited, that is why the goal difference this game is frankly meaningless.
Well, what about me, Trevor? I was excited. That early game was exciting AF. Mad Lions, I want to see them pull it back.
And here we are, and the gold lead at this point is negligible, right? Like 3K when Guma has an Infinity Edge, is coming up on a 3rd item. In the grand scheme of things, isn't really going to matter. It's all about how the teamfight execution is going to come down.
And if you're an LEC fan, you should be a little bit nervous because the teamfight execution has been T1 favored. What I will say, though, is throughout the course of this game, the first 15 minutes, dominated by Mad Lions, making practice plays and landing them.
Yeah.
Then T1 was setting up their own fights, and they were landing them. So we haven't yet seen Mad Lions really execute a good team fight where they haven't been jumped on. They haven't been somewhat surprised. And it looks like they're setting up for this inner top turret.
Yeah, they need to be the ones doing the jumping, Trevor. Those many forms of initiation here. Let's see. Siege on top side, though. They've got all 5 members. They should be able to bully this one down.
Yeah, very quickly, in fact. Pouring through all 5 members. Flash is not available for anyone except Hylissang. The Hextech Gate's going to bring members of T1 forward, and we're 40 seconds from the next Dragon spawning. It'll be the 3rd for Mad Lions, the 2nd for T1. And I do want to reiterate just how valuable the Hextech Soul could be for the entirety of Mad Lions. Zeus, he's going to teleport to the bottom lane. Remember, because Dragon is the objective, push that mid lane, push that bottom lane, push the Vision into Mad Lions territory, and T1 inside the river first.
And right now T1 gets the ability to set up Vision, and that was, to me, one of the biggest problems that Mad had in the first fight. With how far ahead they were, with how much control they have ahead of the map, you should be able to choke out Vision and set up flanks.
I mean, that Umbral Grave from Oner has done so much value. It was the first item he picked up. Faker once again finds the initiation, and Guma just melts Mad Lions. That Moonlight Vigil depth charge was beautiful.
Once again, Faker hits a hook, and Nisqy is dead. His body hits the floor as Guma initially goes in. And that means your Dragon, unless Hilly?
No, don't think it's going to happen. I mean, right now, Nisqy is screaming, have you seen my bet tippers? Because I haven't. You've been dead so many times in these team fights, has not had that impact. T1 will secure their 3rd tower, their 2nd Dragon. That gold lead means nothing, and all of the momentum has shifted to the LCK 2nd seeds.
And now all of a sudden, if you look at the Mad comp and you're not able to play out the front to back, if Hylissang can't get a hook, if Chasey can't get into the backline right from the get-go, and even then, as we saw in the Baron fight, Zeus has done a great job of keeping him out of fights. If Nisqy can't find or doesn't go for a flash engage, this is just going to keep playing out the way the last, 5 team fights have gone.
Yeah, Guma is able to finish his Lord Doms after that, so he is going to just blow anyone up who any T1 member
He already
catches.
is.
Yeah, you thought it was quick before.
And I think it's also important to note, there is no real front line here for Mad Lions. You know, there's no real tank. So even though they've got a lot of damage themselves, look at that from Oner. He leaps forward, does Taste of Fear, and Hilly loses, what, 70% of his hit points? Now, I will say, I've been a bit of a downer on Mad Lions for the last 10 minutes of play, which is fair. However, they do still have all of those tools. They now have their flashes available. So for the Mad Lions, while it is looking dire, we are still on an even footing, and if they can finally win the team fight, they can regain some semblance of control.
Yeah, they have to be the ones using their CC to actually create these openings, though, because as you mentioned, they've got no tank, no front line. They don't want to soak any damage, so you have to create your openings then with the large amount of CC that you do have.
And what's important as well is that T1 is also not giving Mad an opportunity, because ever since they've had the opportunity, ever since that one Dragon fight, T1 has basically just been grouped as 5. Like, they have not split apart at all.
Yeah, look at the formation. They will protect Gumayusi with anyone else's life. Everybody protect the president here. As long as Guma is standing, T1 hopes are real.
I mean, that is exactly how this comp's supposed to play out, right? And if everyone's focusing on Guma, there is the possibility for Oner to jump around. You know, he's got 4 kills, 2 deaths, 7 assists. He's been able to apply enough threat on that back line, closing things off. But look at this tense standoff. Baron is up. We're 3 minutes away from the next Dragon. It'll only be the 3rd for both respective teams. But we are also at this point in the game where if a strong team fight can be won, close enough to push towards the base, push towards those inhibitors. T1, they set their sights on the Baron. Look at that damage! Oh my word, Carzzy melting Zeus, but the dredge line connects, the Dragon's Rage has been used, Bone, Skewer, Flash, Guma, there's no one to jump back on him, and Hilly's the man that's targeted down. Faker gets another, Nisqy uses the Hourglasses to buy some time, but Guma has done it once again. Chasey with a slicing Maelstrom gets at least a kill back, but Mad Lions are ace.
And T1 are gonna get the Baron after that one. Mad Lions, they got their initial pick and they just saw the win in their eyes. They tried too hard, too far on the chase. You mentioned it. Hilly does get the pull, but nobody's there for the follow-up here. This pick, you need to be calm after this pick and go for the reset here. Take a look. Elyoya moves up. He counters Faker's hook with the kick initially. And then the distance is just too large here. Hilly does get his flash hook, but Carzzy is clearing the ward. and then they get the follow-up.
And crucially, even though here a lot of damage is going to the front line, look at Guma. No one is touching him, and as we said, you got to protect the president. If he's alive and well, you're in trouble.
And if he and Keria get to flash forward in the team fight, it is saved a little bit there, as Chasey at least gets some money. They get the shutdown kill at the end, but it is going to cost them another Baron here. And that's 2 Barons now for T1 in a game that they were so heavily down. They've actually retaken the gold lead. They've evened up the Dragons, and they're going to finally get the last of the outer towers.
Beautiful. The second Red Bull Baron power play being set up. Thank Mr. Guma. That damage is crazy. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time in 31 minutes that T1 are leading the game in gold. They are now the team with a 2,000 gold lead. They've got Baron on multiple members. It's T1 stepping forward. And Faker's Nautilus combined with Guma's Aphelios are so huge this game. The Magi Soul Stealer picked up for Faker as well. He's already got sickening damage and will continue to build that up. A number of pings there on that mid inhibitor turret to Mad Lions. They're trying to find that initiation.
Yeah, Matt can't go for the Dragon here because T1 will just push them out.
Oh, waiting for this initiation there. Ayoya is looking for the flank. Chasey's in the front line. Flash available to him, level 15. Slicing Maelstrom is up 2. Engage comes out. Bone Skewer backwards. Guma and the rest of T1 stepping onto the river. We've got this defensive flank, Kobe. No one's pulled the trigger just yet. Faker not going to find the dredge line this time.
Elyoya's looking for an angle to get behind on Guma. They can't get it, so they pull Faker.
Not the man that you wanted. Dredge line will connect. Kazi's pushed backwards. Moonlight Vigil gets him. He had Flash. He had Ghost. He had Featherstorm, and none of it absolutely mattered. T1 dominate once more.
Faker hits those. Faker hits those. The Nautilus with the Evan Shroud damage amp, and Guma finishes that kill, no problem. Dragon picked up. T1 coming for your base.
Chasey using that flash defensively just to get away from that Q3. Running for his life. No slicing Maelstrom. The base still available. Baron's still up. Chronicler, T1 have pulled this game back from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. I've seen T1 win a lot of games in a lot of ways, but this is incredible. It's the fact that they go this all in on Guma a year after he had a pretty lackluster MSI.
Oh man, and you know what? Between then and now, things could not look different. Nexus turret number 1 has fallen. Nexus turret number 2 has fallen. 49, 50 kills in 30 minutes. T1 strike first. I'm exhausted. I'm sweating. That was exquisite, League of Legends.
Oh, what an emotional roller coaster there. T1, they wake up live on stage.
Yeah, that early game, I think we might see some